What remains of Gaza today is a place where quiet settles over broken skylines, families pressed together among the rubble of homes that once rang with joy. 2 million people are displaced within their own borders, cut off from even the most basic of human needs, as famine tightens its stranglehold. More than 240 people have already perished from starvation, among them over 100 children. Clean water has long since become a distant memory. In overcrowded displacement sites, desperate families scrape by on murky, tainted water that is both scarce and dangerous. Some resort to drinking seawater or collecting from stagnant pools simply to wet their lips. Their bodies bear the consequences through relentless waves of illness, hitting the youngest hardest. The bombs have not stopped falling, and what this surveillance footage captured lays bare, with devastating honesty, the conditions people are being forced to endure. On a single day, nearly 90 lives are lost, and not all of them to explosions. It is a crushing kind of existence, fighting to make it through each hour in a conflict zone that offers no sanctuary, no respite, and no compassion. Disease moves through overcrowded shelters, taking the most vulnerable. Hunger spreads through households where the cupboards have been bare for weeks. Thirst claims those who have no option but to drink poisoned water. Even standing in line for a loaf of bread is no guarantee of survival. Aid trickles in too slowly, in too small a quantity, and distributed too unevenly. People crumple while waiting for relief that may never reach them. These are not abstract statistics. They are children lying awake with empty stomachs, mothers watching their loved ones wither, whole communities locked inside a cycle of fear and deprivation. Gaza is not simply suffering, it is being destroyed. 3 tornadoes. In 2015, fire crews responding to the Pinery blaze in South Australia suddenly found themselves overtaken by the inferno and were forced to initiate emergency burnover procedures.
Here it comes, the head's coming. Nick, slow down. We're going to go in a burnover very, very quick now. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. Get the fucking clock in. 500 meters.
The audio recorded in those moments is absolutely chilling. You can hear the tearing sound of Velcro as firefighters ripped away window covers to get temporary access to breathable air, while an onboard system kicked in desperately, trying to keep them alive.
Fuck me! Jesus fucking Christ!
General broadcast, if any units are out there.
I've activated Mayday. Who's at the back?
The vehicles were entirely swallowed by the fire as the front swept over them, leaving the crews with no choice but to trust they could push through to the already burned ground on the other side.
We are on Mosley's Road, Woolships. Our Saigo movement over.
I'm Daniel Palmer. Where's Daniel?
Roger, was these road bullshit, don't prove cannonball.
And that's the thing,
Please let this thing go past. Let this thing go past.
Roger, right, quick.
Andy, have a circulation of McLeod's especially in back of us. Who's in front of us? I have two men out of the clients. I've got no idea where they are.
Roger, we'll stand 115, any further transmissions in 39.
Hello, sir.
So what does it actually feel like to be sealed inside a fire truck while flames rage all around you? This chilling and unsettling footage was recorded by a home security camera and shared online by a woman named Diana, where it rapidly climbed to over 4 million views. According to Diana, she was getting ready to head out when she suddenly heard a loud crash followed by her dog crying out in agony. With no idea what had caused it, she pulled up her security camera footage to investigate, and what she found was both terrifying and nearly impossible to explain. See for yourself. Without warning, the dog began behaving in a very strange way. Seconds later, it lunges towards something that simply isn't there. Then some kind of unseen force shoves it backward, sending it crashing onto its back as it lets out a horrifying yelp. If you pay close attention to the way the animal goes down, something deeply unsettling becomes clear. It didn't lose its balance on its own. Something pushed it. The clip has since spread across the internet, with countless viewers convinced that what this dog experienced was something supernatural, something rooted in the paranormal. So what's your take on what actually went down here? For quite a while, a woman has been noticing deeply unsettling sounds coming from somewhere inside her house. Each time it occurs, she searches the space thoroughly, going from room to room, checking every possible spot, but never turns up a single explanation. Then one night, the sounds start up again, only this time they seem to be originating from just outside. As she moves toward the bush sitting right in front of her house, she comes within inches of something that stops her cold. If you look carefully, you can just barely distinguish a chilling figure concealed within the shrub, as though it had been crouching there waiting for her. The instant it registers what she's actually looking at, pure panic takes over, and she bolts from the area as quickly as her legs will carry her. According to her own telling of events, the disturbing activity hasn't let up since. The sounds have continued without pause, and the unexplained incidents keep piling up. All of it has led her to genuinely believe that something supernatural has taken up residence in her home. But as for what exactly was lurking out there that night, that question still has no answer. Tom, the man behind the YouTube channel What in the World, was in the middle of a solo canoe expedition across Canada when he started picking up strange noises drifting in from the shoreline.
You okay, buddy? Oh, buddy, how long you been here? Are you stuck? Are you stuck? Just log on you or something. Okay, the log's not on you anymore. You okay? What's wrong? Talk to me. Can you come? Come on. Can you move? Can you move, buddy? You've been here a long time. You in any pain? You okay, buddy? Can we keep going? A bit more. Oh. I'll see if I can get you to my canoe.
Driven by equal parts curiosity and worry, he steered his canoe toward the sound, and what awaited him was absolutely gut-wrenching. A dog was half buried in mud, completely spent and unable to free itself. The poor animal was covered in filth and pinned down by a fallen log, all signs pointing to it having been stuck there for quite some time. Without hesitating, Tom worked the dog loose, carefully lifted it into his canoe, and made his way toward the closest house he could find.
Hello, how are you?
Good. What's up?
Hey, I'm just canoeing. I'm canoeing across Canada.
Oh yeah.
And I was just canoeing past and I saw a dog that's been stuck in the mud.
Oh no.
Is
Is
it-
it live still?
Yeah, I was wondering, is it your dog?
Yeah, probably a white one.
Yeah.
Oh,
It looks like he's been there a long...
looking for it for a long time.
It looks like he's been there a long time.
Where is she?
I dragged him out of the... I don't know if it's a girl. Is it a girl? I dragged her out of the mud and put her on my canoe. And I brought her here on your dock.
Thanks, because I've been looking for her and I looked down there too.
She's a nice dog. I was worried at the beginning.
She's 14 years old.
Oh, she can't move her back legs very well. I don't know if that was normal,
No.
but I had to move a log from that was on the back of her. She was in the water, half in the water, half on the mud.
Jeez.
And
I
I've-
looked all over for her. She's been gone 2 days.
It looks like she's been there a while.
Is she alive?
As he pulled up, a couple stepped outside, and the moment they laid eyes on the animal, they knew exactly who it was. Their 14-year-old Great Pyrenees, missing for 2 full days. The senior dog, known for her sweet and gentle temperament, had most likely wandered too near the water's edge and gotten herself trapped.
Well, thank you very much for the evening and the morning and the breakfast, and
Thank you.
yeah, I'm glad to get your dog back to you. I'm happy I was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
The owners were completely overcome with relief, showering Tom with thanks and insisting he accept food, a place to rest, and all the warmth they could offer. By the following morning, the dog was back home and on the mend, and Tom set off once again on his cross-country route, quietly thankful that fate had put him exactly where he needed to be. This next clip comes from Adam Mark, a veteran paranormal investigator who typically dedicates his time to exploring derelict and forgotten locations. In this particular video, though, he ventures inside what many regard as the most frightening dwelling in all of England, 30 East Drive. This unremarkable-looking council house in Pontefract carries a notorious reputation as the setting for one of the most violent poltergeist cases ever recorded in European history, long plagued by a malevolent presence known as the Black Monk. Back in the late 1960s, the Pritchard family, who lived there at the time, suffered relentless physical assaults and harrowing apparitions, forever cementing the property as one of the most legendary paranormal locations in the world. Fully aware of what he's walking into, Adam makes his way straight upstairs to the heart of the activity, a bedroom that once belonged to the family's daughter, Emma. Take a look at what his camera captured.
Guys, so we are at 30 East Drive. We have literally just spent the night here. We're packing up, ready to go. So we thought we'd try one last thing, the knocking on Emma's room. That's my first rodeo. So Emma's room, small child's room. No one door. No one to the bed. No one to the bed. Okay. Sit on me. Right. Emma, can you open this door for me, please? All night we were trying to get it to do that and it wouldn't. One more time for me, please, Anna. Can hear you in there. Can you open this door for me? We'd really appreciate it if you could open the door. Thank you. All night we were trying to get it to do it and it wouldn't do it.
When you break this footage down, the exchange is about as direct and unsettling as it gets. Adam walks up to Emma's closed door, historically the most volatile and dangerous room in the entire house. The space inside is visibly vacant, so he shuts the door and gives it a polite knock. Without hesitation, the door swings wide open entirely on its own. Determined to rule out a draft or a faulty frame, Adam deliberately pulls it closed again. You can distinctly hear the metal latch snap firmly into place. With the door physically secured against the frame, he knocks a third time. That same latch audibly clicks open on its own, and once again the door glides open with no one on the other side. So where do you stand on this one? For our final clip, Emmy, who runs the YouTube channel The Cat Lady Van, posted about an unsettling incident back in November 2025, when her regular parking spot was no longer available. She managed to track down an alternative location close by that seemed like it would do for the night, even if the vibe of the area felt a little off compared to what she was used to.
Good morning, everyone. I used to sleep at this Walmart here in Port and Birdie, and yeah, while I was enjoying my road trip this summer, they changed the rule: no overnight parking. They blocked the area that we used to park that was all around there, really far from the actual store was right there. And yeah, they blocked the whole thing. Yesterday I was, in fact in my last video I told you guys, I'm gonna go sleep at a Walmart, it's supposed to rain a lot and maybe windy and all this. And I arrive, I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not gonna sleep at Walmart. No Walmart anymore. And this morning I need to do a grocery. And usually when I sleep at Walmart, I just kindly go do a grocery, do all my stuff at Walmart because I'm right there. So what's the point of moving? And you know, kind enough to let us sleep there. So, but because I really need like fruit and vegetable, we're gonna go to another grocery. It's not that I'm mad at them, but I'm sure they have a reason. But gonna go to another spot.
On the surface, the spot appeared calm and isolated from the surrounding activity. It had been raining throughout the day, though the weather had cleared up by the time evening rolled around.
So I arrived probably an hour ago now. The air has been on, it's windy, cold. Like, no way that I'm going outside. No way. So I hope you guys enjoy this little rainy day with me. It stopped raining. Obviously, it's always like this. Stopped raining at night, and the temperature cooled down because the sky is wide open. And tomorrow morning, the rain's gonna come back. That's all that work. That's all that work on the West Coast. You get it? Yeah. Windy. No, the wind is gone. Everything's gone.
Then came the banging. Hard, furious blows against the van, the kind that sounded like they were leaving a mark. The sheer force of it left no doubt that whoever was out there wasn't just messing around or trying to get her attention.
Alright guys, that's someone banging on my van pretty loud. I'm not sure if he did any damage, to be quite honest. I don't know if he banged with a piece of wood. He banged on another van too. I'm gonna move. So just to explain a little bit the situation, so a man who was just walking the street banged on my van, and the van behind me was a camper van, and we ended up following each other for a little bit just down the road. I went outside to make sure that the person was alright, nothing was damaged on their van, and it ended up to be one of my subscribers. So it was great. We just chatted a little bit, and we decided to following each other to another location. So it's so funny. The other lady is a subscriber. I didn't know it was a lady, and I didn't know she was a subscriber. So we just talked. She said that she's alright. She just wanna leave the area just in case that he's coming back. So we're gonna drive together to another spot. We're just gonna go at the rest area a little bit further down the road. I mean, we're leaving the town to be honest. It's just gonna be better, and I'm going into night mode tomorrow anyway, so might as well. Alright, let's close this. I'm just gonna say goodnight to the girl behind me. Kind of funny though. It's bright. You guys are bright. Put my sweater back upside down. I'm so hard. Oh, she said that happened another time to her, and the last time the guy went in the wood and he was banging on the van like quite a lot, and he says something around like, I'm gonna destroy your van. So she's like, oh, this is the time to move. I'm like, yeah. So used to be a quiet place. I kind of feel like, I don't know why I feel like this, but since I went back on the Vancouver Island, I feel like it's not the same as when I left. Place that I used to park and be like zero problem, never had any issues, started to be like some kind of issue. Was another place the other day, and something bizarre too, when I moved in the middle of the night. And the other day in Costco, was someone coughing behind my van, and I heard some pretty bad story after that I don't really want to go back to Costco. Yeah. This is how we had with the stickers coming out. Alright guys, gonna try to fall back to sleep. Alright. Me again, I'm not done with this video. Let me show you what I found. Beautiful damage on my van. I knew when he banged on my van it would sound pretty loud. I thought I was in the back, that's why I was looking in the back there. And I didn't know if he had a stick, that's why I said on my video. But I think he probably had a rock and when he banged on my van, because yeah, this looked like quite a big dent, unfortunately. I'm kind of pissed, to be honest guys. It really frustrated me. The location that I was sleeping, I have two locations kind of in between, like 2-minute of a drive between each other, and that's like location that I kind of enjoy. I used to enjoy sleeping in, but now it's just like they're just out. I'm not gonna sleep in this town anymore. That's for sure. And yeah, it's kind of frustrating because it was a town that I was sleeping, quite often. And that's that. After 7 years, that's the first time someone yelled at my van. It's not the first time. It happened, people outside, homeless, drunk people, whatever. But someone physically, touched my van. Just not like I had some teenager shaking my van once. I think that's it. But physically, angry at my van and yelling, that was the first time. And that someone damaged my van, that's seriously the first time.
Life on the road has a way of putting you face to face with people whose behavior shifts from irritating to genuinely dangerous. And when someone starts physically assaulting your vehicle in the dead of night, it stops being about the damage to the metal. It's a direct threat against the one place you call home. A nighttime caregiver by the name of Mrs. Tennyson has come forward with a deeply unsettling account from the home of one of her clients. According to her, the elderly woman she looks after has been holding full conversations while completely asleep, seemingly directed at someone no one else can see. Then one night, after strange sounds started coming from the bedroom, Mrs. Tennyson decided to keep a close eye on the security feed. The house was completely quiet. She was the only one there, and that's when something showed up on that screen that she simply couldn't account for.
Every night I'm at work, I be thinking I'm tripping. But you gotta watch this video, y'all. You see that move under the bed? Like I know for a fact it's close to my client's house. I be seeing, you see it keep moving, I'm like right there under the bed. It's moving back and forth. You see it? It's ghost in my client's house. Look under her bed. When it come out, it go back. And she in bed asleep, she ain't moved an ounce. But do you see how it keep coming out, going back in there? This is no joke.
In the recording, there's unmistakable movement along the floor right next to the bed. No animals live in that house, and nothing straightforward could explain what was going on. Once the footage made its way online, people started weighing in with all kinds of theories. A few thought it might be the spirit of a beloved pet that had passed. Others brought up the fact that the woman's husband had died not long ago, which led many to wonder whether it could have been his presence. If this footage genuinely captures something from beyond the physical world, then what exactly showed up in that bedroom? We'd love to hear what you think. Smithereens is an outdoor exploration and adventure channel. On this particular outing, the creator and his friend Carl ventured onto native land, with permission, to check out a remote canyon somewhere in the American Southwest. This area carries a reputation for strange happenings, unexplained disappearances, and local stories of a presence that watches over the land. While moving through the canyon after dark, the two of them glance up toward the rock face above, and something glances back. Two glowing eyes, completely unbothered by the torchlight, not reacting the way any animal would. See for yourself what they were staring at.
What is that up there? See that? See those eyes?
Where?
You're pointed right at it. Go up higher, up higher. See the eyes? To the right? Right there. It's like, see there's the big boulders, and then up higher see it? See the eyes?
No, but
It's on the rocks right there looking at us.
the big boulder right in front of us.
No, go up twice as far.
Well, I can clearly see them on the night vision. Look at the eyes looking. I'm gonna zoom in on it. Something's on the rocks watching us right there, look. Oh. Oh, there it is, see? What is it? See that? That light on the rocks.
For several minutes, the pattern repeats. Every time the light switches on, it vanishes instantly. The second the light cuts out, those eyes are back. Whatever this thing is, it's positioned at least 6 feet up the rock face, in a spot no known animal would naturally sit. The creator later says he made direct eye contact with it, and that it was clearly observing them, not retreating, not startled.
Yeah, something was up there watching us, for real. It's not even acting like an animal. Like it's not scurrying away. It's like spying on it. There it is, there it is. There it is. Oh, right there. It's still there. It moved to the right a little bit. There. Oh, it's still peeking at us. What the hell is that, dude? And this is what's creepy. That's up where we were crawling around. That's up where we were hearing that woman, the whisper of that woman's voice. And where we saw the ball of light move around, or like what looked like a flash of light. And now you see it right there. I don't see it anymore. It just appeared and disappeared again. I guess we keep going to the petroglyphs.
Yeah.
See if it follows us. That's right up where we both heard that sound.
According to the legends of the local people, making eye contact with one of these entities is exactly how an attachment takes hold. He still has no explanation for what was sitting on those rocks that night, and to this day, he doesn't. Years ago, a man named Mark visited a private school in Salem to use the facility's recording studio for a music video project. He had set up his camera in one of the hallways and was getting ready to film a quick social media vlog, but something felt off. He couldn't shake a sense of unease and found it nearly impossible to concentrate. After struggling through it for a couple of minutes, he gave up entirely. When Mark went back and reviewed the footage from that day, what he found on the recording stopped him cold. Pay close attention to what unfolds here.
Okay. Oh crap. I'm not doing this right. Okay. I can't even see myself. I don't know if this is...
Did you catch that semi-transparent female figure in a flowing white dress, barely perceptible as she descends the staircase? The moment she rounds the corner, she becomes startlingly clear and then simply vanishes. Mark has no idea what's taking place just behind him, yet he's clearly unsettled and disoriented for reasons he can't explain. It's also worth noting that Mark's entire social media presence and YouTube channel are devoted solely to his music career. This footage, now 14 years old, stands as the one and only video on his channel that has any connection to the paranormal. 2 hunters were sitting motionless out in the desert, using animal calls to lure in wildlife. They had absolutely no clue what was already making its way toward them. As they kept up their calling, a bobcat crept silently out of the brush, moving without a sound until it was just a couple of feet away, frozen in place and staring them down. The men didn't dare move, knowing full well the cat could launch itself at them in an instant. Eventually, the bobcat retreated and settled at a safer distance to keep an eye on them, but both men understood exactly how fast that situation could have turned dangerous. One wrong move is all it ever takes. What you're about to see was recorded by a security camera inside a school building. One morning, when staff arrived to open up, they found that multiple objects had been displaced and scattered across the floor. They immediately pulled up the overnight surveillance footage to figure out what had gone on, and what they found on that recording left them shaken. Going in, their assumption was that someone had broken into the building under the cover of darkness. But what the camera had actually captured was something far more disturbing than any intruder, an unseen force, hurling and shifting objects with startling aggression. At this point, many believe the school could be haunted. So where do you stand on this? How do you make sense of what that camera picked up? February 2005. What started as a straightforward solo camping excursion took a sharp turn into something far more disturbing. Nikki, a familiar face in the backcountry community through her channel Nikki TV, ventured deep into the wilderness, pushing through roads still bearing the wounds of a hurricane from earlier that year. The conditions were brutal: mudslides, washed out terrain, trees scattered like debris, but it was the forest itself that would put her resolve to the real test.
Here, and the damages they're extreme. But yeah, so some of the roads are a little rutted and messed up from the rain and the mudslides and the trees that fell over. But yeah, I'm a little nervous. I got it. It really makes it easy for me to get in and out the back of my 4Runner. Also, when I put up my rain tarp that connects to the back of my 4Runner, when it comes time to take it down, when it's raining, this gives me a clean place to be able to.
Once she'd made camp in an isolated clearing, Nikki headed out for a brief hike before the light faded. That's when it hit her. Loud, deliberate knocking sounds, reverberating between the trees. She tried to dismiss it at first. Maybe a bear, maybe something mundane. The knocking eventually faded, but the dread it left behind didn't.
I thought I heard some knocking coming from that direction. Kinda sound like somebody knocking on a tree. But could have been a woodpecker or anything like that, I guess.
Back at her campsite, she got ready for the night ahead, hanging up some lights and calling her husband out to join her. What should have been a calm, quiet evening was anything but. The two of them wandered down a nearby trail and came across something that stopped them cold. A massive impression in the soft ground, bigger than either of their own footprints, and sunk deep enough to demand an explanation. Then the strange lights started appearing across the camera lens, faint, unexplained reflections, flickering just at the edge of visibility, as if something was moving out there in the dark.
Here comes my husband, I can tell because that's his Toyota. Oh. You can barely see his headlights coming through the mountain. Oh, he's jamming too. He's feeling good.
The mood between them grew heavy. Their silence carried a weight neither could shake off. Even with company, the feeling of unseen eyes on them was impossible to ignore. Sleep that night was restless at best, and by the time morning arrived, they didn't need to debate it. They broke camp fast and got out, leaving the shadows and unanswered questions right where they found them.
Hello.
I heard you coming from so far with that music. But it still took you a long time to get here.
Well, it's
How was your little nighttime drive?
It's mostly daylight all the way till just a minute ago.
Did you pass that truck?
Yeah, I passed a couple of weeks.
So what was it? Local wildlife? Some unknown observer? Or something that doesn't fit neatly into any category? Some who've watched this footage point to the evidence, the tree knocks, the oversized tracks, the visual anomalies, all textbook signs of a cryptid presence. Others aren't convinced, chalking it up to nothing more than coincidence. This creator had the brilliant idea of launching an ASMR channel and figured a walk along a forest trail would be the perfect starting point, letting the natural sounds of the woods do all the work. Things started off exactly as he'd hoped. Serene, quiet, nothing out of the ordinary, until something happened that shook him to his core. He came out there chasing tranquility, not whatever nightmare fuel he ended up with instead. See for yourself what unfolded. He describes himself as a seasoned trail hiker and says that in all his years walking through Michigan's forests, he has never once encountered a sound like that. His reaction reads as completely genuine. He hears it, freezes, scans the area to figure out if something is closing in on him, and then bolts in the opposite direction at full speed. The fear on him is absolutely real. The clip spread widely online, and a huge number of viewers were just as stumped as he was about what could have made that sound. The following clip comes wrapped in uncertainty, as debate over its origins has been swirling across the internet ever since it surfaced. Jacob Edris headed out solo on a camping trip, venturing deep into an isolated stretch of woodland. For a time, things felt completely ordinary until darkness settled in. Lying inside his tent, he began picking up faint sounds creeping in from somewhere among the trees. He hit record, and that's the moment something showed up, peering directly into the tent. Overcome with fear, Jacob fled, sprinting away as fast as his legs would carry him. What you're about to watch is the very last footage that was ever taken of him. The following morning, Jacob was reported as missing. When investigators pulled the footage from his camera, they were left speechless by what had been captured in the moments right before everything went dark. Here's what Jacob recorded in those final seconds.
That can't be. That's not an animal. That's someone's messing around with the rocks out there. Jesus Christ. Hey, leave me alone. What's going on out there? Look, the flashlight. Now I can't see a goddamn thing outside this night vision. Jesus Christ. I don't know where the fuck I am. Perk chased me off. Now I'm wondering.
Within the footage, a bizarre silhouette cuts across the frame, tall, slender, and an almost unearthly shade of white. It's visible for barely an instant, yet it's more than enough to get under your skin. Could that figure somehow be connected to Jacob's disappearance? Some people point towards skinwalker folklore as an explanation. Others believe it may be genuine evidence of something beyond the natural world. And then there are those who are convinced the whole thing is staged. The honest answer is that no one truly knows, and it's looking like we may never find out. So where do you stand? Was this an elaborate hoax, or is there something to that shape caught on tape? Up next is a deeply disturbing clip from Mexican TikTok creator Pit Ramirez. Pit has been carefully recording the relentless paranormal activity that seems to have taken over his private tattoo studio. His footage has caught everything from shadowy figures appearing on security cameras to aggressive poltergeist-style events. Strangely, he insists this frightening activity is entirely confined to that one studio space. In this particular clip, he's standing out front of his locked studio with no idea whatsoever about what's lurking on the other side of that door. Here's the raw footage for yourself.
Oí que patearon la puerta y me puse a grabar, pero empecé a notar en la persiana que se movía. ¿Qué les dije? ¿Qué les dije a la verga? Perdón con mis 20,000 vueltas, pero es una llave de seguridad. O sea, no ha salido nadie, miren. Voy a entrar, voy a cerrar la puerta rápido. Voy a prender aquí la luz. Y miren. Porque estoy remodelando, estoy reacomodando todo, miren. No hay nadie. Miren. Miren. Que no digan que hay alguien. No mames.
Looking back through this recording, the sense of violation is genuinely unsettling. Pitt is filming the outside of his locked studio when something catches the eye. The front door has a glass panel fitted with interior blinds. Without warning, one of the individual slats snaps downward in a sharp, deliberate motion, exactly the way a finger would hook it to steal a glance outside. Knowing he's the only person with a key, Pitt musters the courage to unlock the door and head inside to check things out. He conducts a careful walkthrough of the compact studio, demonstrating that the place is completely vacant. He even turns the camera directly into the small bathroom, making it clear nobody is tucked behind the door or crouched in the shower. Yet barely seconds after he returns to the main room, the solid bathroom door swings completely shut entirely on its own, sealing whatever might be lurking inside. So, paranormal phenomenon or an elaborate setup? That's for you to judge. Nestled in San Diego is the legendary Hotel del Coronado, a historic landmark that first opened its doors back in 1888. Over the years, the property has built quite a reputation as one of America's most haunted destinations. Countless guests and employees have come forward with reports of unsettling activity, lights that flicker on their own, electronics switching on without anyone touching them, and objects launching themselves off shelves for no apparent reason. It was this very location that a couple named Josh and Crystal chose for their own after-dark paranormal investigation. At one point during the session, they spotted what appeared to be movement coming from one of the adjacent rooms and swung the camera in that direction. They weren't fast enough to catch the movement itself, but what the camera did manage to record turned out to be far more unsettling.
It's okay. I can see you. Come to me. Are you a little boy? It's okay. Come here. It's okay. I don't know if my eyes are playing tricks on me, but it looks like it's going like back and forth. Is it moving? It's okay.
No, come back.
Where?
No, you come back. Go straight, look straight towards me. No, turn towards me like you were earlier. Put your back towards me. Like you were earlier. Put your back towards me.
While Crystal addresses what she believes to be the spirit of a young boy she feels is connected to the space, something unexpected appears in the frame. For just a fleeting instant, a dark figure with the silhouette of a small child materializes behind her, darts across the room, and then vanishes entirely. So, did Josh and Crystal manage to document genuine proof of something otherworldly lurking inside Hotel del Coronado? We'll let you be the judge. This next clip was posted online by a man named Arash Afnan sometime before this video was made. His young son had been telling him that one of his toy dolls would make strange noises in the middle of the night, and that he frequently felt as though someone else was present in his room. Initially, Arash brushed it off and didn't take it seriously, but then late one night, the doll started making those exact sounds his son had been describing. The strange part? The noise wasn't coming from the boy's bedroom at all. It was coming from the kitchen, and it seemed to be calling out to his son by name, waking the child from his sleep. Determined to prove to his dad that he hadn't been making things up, the boy quietly grabbed his father's phone while he was still asleep and started recording.
Bising, natido pun tak boleh. Hantu punya setan, maling kau sorok. Kau lapar nasi ke setan? Bisinglah lagi. Ada dua setan. Duduk diam dah. Apa lagi ni?
The phone trembles on its own for no apparent reason, and then a loud rattling from inside the kitchen cupboard sends the boy into a panic. He works up the courage to open the cabinet door, and there sits the very doll that had been tormenting him. Terrified, he slams it shut, but when he opens it again moments later to take another look, the doll is completely gone, and the rattling hasn't stopped. When Arash finally saw the footage his son had captured, he was left speechless. He's now convinced that some kind of dark entity is attached to the doll, one that may even be targeting his son directly. But what's your take on what's actually happening here? And the bigger question, just where did that doll even come from in the first place? Derek is exploring an abandoned house sitting alone on top of a hill, completely isolated from everything else around it. For reasons that aren't exactly clear, he chose to go inside by himself, recording as he moves through the decaying rooms and empty hallways. The place looks unstable, quiet in a way that makes every small sound feel louder than it should. Then he pauses, convinced he hears someone or something inside with him, a noise that doesn't sound like the building settling.
Hermaphrodite. Oh man, this is fun. Dude, I think I hear somebody. I think I hear something. Oh shit. Out. I'm out. Oh shit. An asshole right there. I literally ate shit coming down that hall.
Suddenly, a massive bang erupts from somewhere inside the house, loud enough to shake him out of any doubt. He immediately turns and sprints out of the building as fast as he possibly can, not stopping until he's outside and putting distance between himself and the structure. He only begins to calm down once he reaches his motorcycle, and without wasting another second, he starts it and rides away, leaving whatever made that noise behind in the house on the hill. In the following video, Jose is inside a reportedly haunted hospital at 6:40 in the morning, a time when the building should be completely still. As he records, distinctive movement sounds can be heard coming from deeper within the structure, not random creaks, but steady noises, like something shifting or walking. He stops to listen, and the sounds suddenly cut off, leaving a heavy silence in their place.
Shit, no matter.
He slowly pans his camera toward a corridor ahead, and a white wisp-like shape crosses from one side to the other, before a door at the end of the hallway slams shut with force. The moment is clear on camera, the movement too defined to brush off as dust or light, and there's no visible reason for the door to move. With no wind and no one else inside, it feels less like coincidence and more like a presence making itself known. Jose doesn't stay much longer after that, choosing to leave the hospital soon after capturing the footage. In this clip, a man named Diaz is recording from the window of his home in Mexico after hearing strange screams echoing through his neighborhood. The sounds are loud and drawn out, almost like an animal in distress, but there's something off about them, something that doesn't match any normal wildlife people are used to hearing. He scans the street and nearby areas with his camera, clearly confused, trying to locate the source.
Dios mío. Dios mío, santo. Mami, algo le está pasando al muchacho, gorda. ¿Escuchas? Vamos a ver. Oh, no.
Despite the volume of the screams, there's nothing visible outside. No animals running, no people, no movement at all. The neighborhood looks completely still, which only makes the noise feel more unnatural. Diaz keeps recording, unsure if what he's hearing has a normal explanation or if it's something far stranger, echoing through the night. Later on, Diaz is walking through the neighborhood at night, still unsettled by the screams, when he hears something even more disturbing coming from a particular house. This time, it sounds like a man in pain, his voice strained and emotional, echoing out into the street. Diaz moves closer, circling the house cautiously as the noise continues. There's shouting now, loud pounding sounds, and at one point what clearly sounds like glass shattering from inside.
Dios santo. Vecino, you okay? No, no, no. Dios te bendiga. No. ¿Necesitas ayuda? ¿Necesitas ayuda? Dios te bendiga. Vengo en el nombre de Jesús. En el nombre de Jesús. Vengo en el nombre de Jesús. Dios te libre. Dios te guarde, vecino. Dios te guarde. Dios te guarde. Jesús de Nazaret. Jesús. Jesús.
He looks through a window and can see someone inside, visibly angry and distressed, moving erratically as if arguing with Diaz through the window, which indicates they know one another. The behavior feels intense and unnatural, leading some viewers to wonder if it could be some kind of possession rather than a normal argument. Diaz keeps speaking calmly from outside, trying to soothe the situation with his voice, repeatedly saying the name Jesus until the chaos inside seems to settle, leaving the house quiet once again. He later finds himself inside his own house for once, still recording with the tension from earlier events clearly weighing on him as the atmosphere feels heavy and silent. Out of nowhere, a firm knocking sound hits the door he is facing, loud enough to echo through the space and make him freeze in place. It happens again, deliberate and controlled, not like something falling or shifting naturally.
Gente, son las 2 de la mañana, me intentaron abrir la puerta, bueno, la tocaron primero y la intentaron como abrir. Luego pues yo me fui al cuarto de las niñas. A ver, ahí está otra vez. Vean, pero vean que no es nadie. Son las 2 de la mañana. Exactamente. Vean. No es nadie. Y ese güey que... Pinche gato feo, ya te había visto yo por aquí. La sangre de Cristo te reprenda. Mari, tráeme la sal. Tráeme la sal, Mari, tráeme la sal, corre.
Diaz quickly moves, circling through the house to check the front window to see if someone could have caused it. But outside there is nothing that makes sense. No people, no movement, no sign of anyone walking away. The only thing visible is a single cat sitting still and staring directly toward him through the window. It does not move, does not react, just watches in an unsettling way that feels too focused to be normal. After everything he has already experienced that night, even something ordinary like a cat feels wrong, leaving viewers questioning whether this is coincidence or if something unseen is continuing to follow him from place to place. In the most normal situation possible, Dave is in the bathroom when he suddenly hears a strange beeping sound coming from downstairs, specifically from the direction of his fridge. Confused and a little uneasy, he heads down the steps toward the basement to check it out, camera in hand. When he gets there, the fridge door is wide open for no clear reason, the beeping echoing in the quiet space as he films it, clearly unsure what he is looking at. He stays on the steps for a while, just watching, like he is waiting for something else to happen.
Right, I just started recording again. Because I'm sat on the toilet and I can hear something beeping downstairs, and the only thing that beeps like that is the fridge. Oh, like if it only beeps like that when the fridge door is open. I don't even want to look. Oh my God. What the f... I'm just gonna sit here. Whoa, did that wire just move? No. Whoa, what the f... What the f... Did you see that? The fuck? Oh no. It's actually moving, man. It looks like a snake or some shit. What the f... Lampshades going as well. They're like moving towards it. Whoa! No! No! No!
After a few tense seconds, a wire sitting in a bowl on top of the fridge slowly begins to move, sliding upward and extending out of the bowl in a way that looks almost alive, hanging forward like a snake stretching towards something. At the same time, a nearby lampshade starts shifting in its direction, both objects moving toward each other unnaturally until items suddenly spill out from inside the fridge. There is no one else down there, nothing touching them, which makes the entire scene feel less like coincidence and more like something unseen is controlling the space around him. During a K9 search of the Watts family home connected to an unpublished crime, officers were carefully moving through the house with their dogs, checking each room methodically while documenting everything on camera. The atmosphere already feels tense, not just because of the case, but because of how quiet and heavy the house seems, like the walls themselves are holding on to something. At one point, they focus on a specific room, guiding the dog inside while the camera keeps rolling. Nothing visibly out of place, just officers doing their job and calling out routine instructions to each other.
Here's a pair of her shorts.
Later, while reviewing the footage, something chilling is discovered. A voice can be heard clearly saying, "This is our home," even though none of the officers reacted at the time, and no one in the room remembers hearing it. The fact that it was only captured on the recording and went unnoticed in the moment makes it feel even more unsettling, as if whatever said it was not meant for them to hear directly. It adds a whole new layer of unease to an already disturbing investigation. But this isn't the only thing they heard that night. They continue the search by moving into the garage area, scanning for anything that could be connected to the case, their eyes passing over shelves, storage boxes, and tools, while the K9 unit sniffs along the ground. Nothing looks obviously disturbed, and the officers speak in low, routine tones, focused entirely on the task at hand, unaware that the camera may be catching more than just the investigation itself.
Yes, very organized, very clean.
During later review of the footage, another unsettling detail surfaces. A faint whisper can be heard, quiet but distinct, saying something told her, the words slipping into the audio without any clear source. Once again, none of the officers in the garage reacted in the moment, and no one recalls hearing a voice while they were inside. The fact that multiple unexplained voices are being picked up only through the recording begins to paint a disturbing pattern, making the house feel less like an empty crime scene and more like a place still occupied by something unseen. For many viewers, moments like this practically confirm the location's haunted reputation, especially when the people present never heard a thing at the time. Chris had brought out a Ouija board the night before with his friend, hoping to finally get some kind of response after everything that had been happening around his house. But the plan fell flat, and the board stayed silent the entire time. Now he was home alone, trying to convince himself that the quiet meant things were settling down. But the house had that strange stillness that always made him feel like something was listening. He was sitting in the living room when a sudden knock echoed through the house, even though no one was at the door, followed by a soft tapping that seemed to come from the room he was in. Take a look.
A lot of you guys are gonna be mad at me, but me and my cousin broke this out. Messed with it last night.
I'm dad had sex on a Ouija board. Oh boy.
We did it the proper way, though. I know this is a kid's toy, but y'all don't understand the kind of shit y'all's getting into when y'all fuck with this. At least some people don't. I heard it, but I didn't see it. I still hear it. You can hear that, can't you? I can. It sound like tapping. Everybody's like, oh, it's the hutch. It's the hutch. Can't do it again. This is a selfie stick I taped to a tripod.
He stood up and looked around, expecting to find something obvious, but the room was empty and nothing moved except for the faint shift of shadows from the lamp. A whisper slipped through the air behind him, a quiet hello that he didn't even register at first because it sounded too close and too low to make sense. Before he could process the stillness, the camera stand beside him toppled over on its own, hitting the floor with a sudden clatter that made him jump. He picked it up and propped it back into place, trying to laugh it off, but the uneasy feeling lingered like whatever whispered at him was still standing right behind his shoulder. Chris was sitting in his living room later that night, with the TV playing softly beside him and his dog curled up at his feet, trying to enjoy the quiet, even though the house kept giving him that uneasy feeling again. The tapping started up just like before, faint and scattered, and then the door started to vibrate.
Not chewing on it. I'm sorry, y'all. He's just playing. It may be loud on my phone. I don't know yet. But yeah, we're just chilling. And I swear, up and down, I could have swore the door was vibrating. It's a sliding door. Slides into the wall. There it goes. It's making me shake a little bit. I'm sorry. That scared the shit out of me. How do I turn this to the light?
While he stroked the dog, the door across the room began to vibrate like something on the other side was pushing against it. And this is the moment that he pulled out the camera and kept it aimed straight at the door. The door slid open just a little on its own, then slowly crept even farther, revealing a deeper patch of darkness behind it that made the room feel colder. After a few seconds, it opened all the way, swinging wide until the entire doorway was visible and completely empty. Not a single movement inside. Chris stood up with his dog watching closely, walked toward the room, and flipped the light on. The space was perfectly still, every corner untouched, literally not a soul in sight. The silence felt even heavier than before, like whatever opened the door had stepped back just out of reach the moment he crossed the threshold. We might see more of Chris in future videos. The hospital room looked totally ordinary on camera, just a standard space with a bed in the center, a chair pushed against the wall, a small table with folded blankets, and the usual equipment sitting quietly in standby. Nothing looked out of place, and the frame stayed steady for a while, showing a perfectly normal scene with no movement at all. Out of nowhere, a strange, uneven sound slipped into the audio, almost like a motor trying to start even though nothing in the room was supposed to be running, and the backrest of the bed began lifting on its own in small, awkward jumps. It kept rising higher, little by little, climbing at a slow, steady angle until it was nearly upright at 90 degrees, with no one near the controls and nothing touching it. The rest of the room stayed exactly the same, the chair still, the other equipment untouched, every corner frozen except for that single, impossible movement. When the noise finally stopped, the bed stayed locked in that upright position, leaving the room looking perfectly normal again, except for the one thing that clearly hadn't moved by itself. Sabia had a security camera set up in her kitchen in the Netherlands, just a regular feed showing the table and a few candles sitting untouched near the back wall. Everything looked calm for a while, nothing unusual happening at all except for a few soft orbs drifting across the screen like dust catching the light. Then, without any movement around it, the candle suddenly sparked to life, a quick flash that turned into a steady flame, as if someone had just struck a match right beside it. Nothing else shifted in the room, no breeze touched the wick, and there was no one standing anywhere near it. The flame held perfectly still after forming, burning like it had been lit on purpose, even though Sabia knew the candle had been cold for hours. The rest of the kitchen stayed completely normal on camera, but the sudden light from the wick made the whole space feel different. like something unseen had stepped in just long enough to leave a mark, before disappearing again. A few nights later, Sabia checked another piece of security footage, this time from the sitting room, and the scene looked completely still at first, with the furniture exactly where it always stayed, and the time on the right showing it was practically midnight. The camera picked up a few drifting orbs crossing the frame like pale specks floating through the air, the same kind she had seen in the kitchen earlier, but nothing else seemed off until the corner of the room shifted. A chair that had been pushed neatly into the corner slid forward on its own, moving in one smooth line across the floor, even though no one was near it. More orbs drifted by in clusters right after, almost like the movement stirred something up, and then the painting on the wall began tilting slowly side to side as if an invisible hand was nudging it. The rest of the room stayed perfectly quiet. No shadows moving, no lights flickering, just the chair out of place and the painting swaying gently before settling back into place. Watching it all unfold at midnight made the sitting room feel less like a normal part of the house and more like another spot where something unseen was making itself known piece by piece. Who knows if it continued, because this is the last we heard from Sabia. In the following video, Stephen was washing dishes with the usual evening noises in the background, the sink running, the faint hum of the fridge, and nothing out of the ordinary until something suddenly tapped hard against the middle of his back and bounced onto the floor behind him. The sound made him jerk around with that instant confusion where your brain tries to catch up to what your body already felt, and he had no idea what could have hit him because he knew no one else was supposed to be that close.
Dude, I'm a little wigged out right now. So I was washing dishes and just putting things away, and all of a sudden I feel something hit me in the back and I heard it bounce. Look at this shit. And this ball hits me in the back right shoulder out of nowhere. And what's even crazier is look where Avery's at. Now mind you, I just got done washing the air fryer and was drying it off. Whatever it was had a little bit of force. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Lauren's been in bed for almost 2 days. Like, she gets up for a little bit, but she has not felt good at all. And Avery, let's just face it, if he's not watching his tablet, he's on the Oculus or he's outside. And I knew with it being like 12 o'clock, he's inside. So I have no idea. Now I have a lot of activity. It's not like malicious or anything, but that right there was the first time that's happened. So I don't know, what do y'all think about it?
When he cut to the CCTV footage, the camera clearly showed a small ball shooting across the room and hitting him square in the back before dropping to the floor, and the look on his face as he turned around said everything about how unexpected it was. He switched the feed over to another part of the house where his son Avery was sitting in plain view, completely occupied and nowhere near the kitchen, just to make it absolutely clear it couldn't have been him messing around. The replay showed no one behind Stephen, no shadows moving, no sign of any trick, just the ball launching on its own and hitting him like it had been tossed by someone he couldn't see. Elysia was alone at her storage unit in the middle of the day, filming down the long, narrow corridor that always felt eerie, but she never really questioned it. The overhead lights buzzed softly, reflecting off the rows of identical metal doors, while her voice echoed down as she told us about what was happening. She wasn't expecting anything at all until she started filming, just checking on a few things she had stored away, when something at the very end of the hallway caught her attention.
I'm over here at the storage, and I don't know if it's me, but y'all tell me I don't see that. Oh no. I don't know if it's just a fan like going in and out, but the is that? Duh. I don't. Maybe I'm bugging. No, I know y'all just see that, right? Oh!
A dark shape peeked out from the corner, a black blob leaning just far enough around the wall for its outline to show before sliding back out of sight again. She kept filming, trying to convince herself it was a trick of the light, but the shape returned a second later, then slipped away, then peeked again like it was deliberately watching her from the far end of the corridor. Nothing else in the hallway moved, no doors rattled, no shadows shifted, except for that one shape darting back and forth behind the last wall. The emptiness made the whole place feel colder, and the repeated movements left her with the awful sense that whatever was hiding around that corner wasn't trying to avoid her at all, but was studying her from a distance she couldn't close. In the follow-up clip, Elysia returned to the storage facility in the daytime, hoping the daylight would make the place feel less threatening. But the moment she stepped inside, she realized it didn't help at all. The entire corridor was pitch dark, even though the building should have been fully lit during business hours. She was the only customer there, with only a couple of staff somewhere in the front office, so she decided to walk in anyway.
Alright, y'all. I'm finally back at this place. And you know, I'm in the process of moving in and out. Right now, and nobody here. Like, listen. If I see something again, I'm definitely reporting to the manager to put up that video, because I'm not playing. There's one car over there, but I'm just gonna see, because right now everything's dark. Like inside there, I don't know if you can see it, but it's dark. Like, look how scary that shit is, bro. This is why I hate doing this shit, but I got no choice. Just here. See, like, I know when you go in, it censors somebody that's here. Oh, so. See, that's that shit that be scary. And, like, I'm on the second floor. Okay. I know that this lady probably lives here or she does her business here, but she's here every single day, nonstop. If that chair's not there, she's not here. If the chair's there, she's there. And, yeah, so I don't know if she lives there or does her little business there. Yeah, anyways, yeah, I don't know. Alright. Listen, see, this is my storage. And I'm honestly, I'm like acting like you guys are human, or... Bitch, I might be living here tonight. No. I'm not doing this. And there's no way There's no way I'm in the storage stuck in this shit. Hello! Oh my god.
As soon as she crossed the motion sensor, the overhead lights flickered on one by one, illuminating the long hallway in a way that instantly reminded her of the last video. She went upstairs to the second floor, unlocked her storage unit, and began recording inside while she rearranged a few items. Out of nowhere, the sound of something sliding echoed from directly outside the unit, a long dragging noise like metal or plastic scraping across the floor. Elysia froze, staring toward the open doorway before rushing forward and pulling the metal shutter down as fast as she could, trapping herself safely inside so whatever had caused the noise couldn't get in. She waited quietly, breathing hard, but the sliding sound didn't repeat. Later that day, Staff reviewed the CCTV for her, and the cameras confirmed it. Nobody else had entered that floor at all during the time she was there, making the situation far more unnerving than she wanted to believe. The following video is about Nate, who still hasn't been able to figure out what exactly he's dealing with, or what approach to use to make it stop. Over time, the activity in his house hasn't faded or stabilized. It's escalated. He started waking up with unexplained scratches on his body, hearing footsteps when no one else is home, and noticing areas of the house where his dog refuses to go. But this particular morning was different. Watch closely.
Alright guys. Still kind of shaking a little bit here. So, I was upstairs. It's just me here, me and the dog. Wife left. I was upstairs, brushing my teeth. And from below me, like where my feet were, which would be the kitchen, I was hearing what sounded like knocks, which would be on the kitchen ceiling. Then it stopped. Once it stopped, I figured, okay, no big deal. So I came down. I was getting ready to cut some oranges. Came over to get the one I always use, the knife I always use to cut fruit and vegetables and stuff. And it's not there. So I figured, oh, it must be dirty. No. Kind of stood for a minute, and then like, what the f on here? Like, in this house. This is a different level. This is not right. This is this is not. This is not okay. This is not okay. It's in there pretty. So I'm guessing that was the sound I was hearing from below my feet. Because the bathroom is right on the other side of this, so that's how my morning started. Just wanted some oranges.
Objects found in positions like this, especially heavy or sharp objects, are often associated with aggressive poltergeist activity, where force and intent seem to be involved. This isn't something falling, tipping, or sliding. Something had to exert pressure to get it there. And when Nate says, "This is not okay," there's something else. A faint voice responding. It's difficult to make out, but undeniably there. Almost as if whatever caused this is aware it's been noticed. Another morning, Nate is home alone when he notices something peeking out from his basement. At first, he tries to come up with logical reasons: shadows, lighting, his eyes adjusting. But the sense of being watched didn't go away. Eventually, he grabbed his camera, and here's what he caught.
Guys, check it out. Something was peeking. Right out. From the basement. I wanted to see if we can catch it. The end of it. But it was like right by the bed. What the? This has been the third morning in a row. Like clockwork. I might have to look back, but it might be around the same times as well. I don't understand. There's nothing. And then I was hearing steps coming down those stairs, but there's nothing. Guys. I don't know, guys. Maybe we can try. What was that?
For many viewers, the most unsettling part isn't even the shape peeking from the basement, it's the whispering. Some people believe they can hear words being formed, while others say it sounds like incoherent murmuring. What makes this harder to dismiss is Nate's claim that this hasn't been a one-time occurrence. He says it's been happening almost every morning, always from the same spot, as if something is watching and waiting. After several people weighed in, many pointed out a recurring detail in Nate's updates. His house is almost always dark, and some believe that prolonged darkness, combined with emotional stress and fear, can intensify paranormal activity, creating an environment where whatever is present feels undisturbed, comfortable, or even encouraged. Then Nate shared another update, one that only made the situation more mysterious. Listen carefully.
I want to share a little update on the activity and something that happened last night. I'm only putting this out there to maybe get some advice or answers, or if anybody has experienced something like this. So I was in a dream. I was dreaming that I was in my house and something had come and woken me up and told me to follow it downstairs. It needed to show me something. So I followed it downstairs, but the whole time my eyes couldn't adjust to what I was following. It was just a figure. Couldn't tell if it was male or female. It was shorter than me. I'm 6 feet. It was shorter than me. That's all I can make out. It was like a, not a mist, but it was like not a full formed shape, if that makes any sense. But it's a dream, so I figured, anyways, I follow it downstairs into the middle of the dining room, and it just lifts up and points its arm towards the basement. I didn't know what it was trying to tell me, but then instantly there was this loud wake up, but it didn't come from the figure. I immediately woke up, but when I woke up, I was standing in my dining room. I have never, ever had an issue of sleepwalking. Never in my life, at least that I know of, or remember, or have ever been told that I sleepwalk. So, I don't know if it was a dream. I don't know if it was a lucid dream. I don't know if I was sleepwalking. But has anybody ever experienced something like this? Because I am at a loss what it means. If there's a reason behind it.
He believes that whatever woke him may have been a warning, possibly his spirit guides, stopping him from going into the basement. From his perspective, the whispers, the peeking, and the activity all seem like attempts to lure him closer to whatever is down there. But others see it completely differently. Some believe the voice that woke him wasn't protecting him at all, but guiding him. That whatever is happening in the basement holds the answers to what he's been experiencing, and whatever else is in the house doesn't want him finding out. That the whispers, distractions, and fear are meant to keep him away. So now the question is, was Nate being warned, or was he being invited? And if something does want him in that basement, the real question is why? I'd love to hear your thoughts. In this next video, Kyle found an abandoned house and decided to do a quick walkthrough, filming the inside to show his partner later. He went in expecting the usual things explorers look for: scattered belongings, traces of past lives, maybe old furniture frozen in time, but what he captured turned out to be something very different. Have a look. Just in case you missed it, within the first few seconds of the video, there are several details that immediately stand out. A black cat is seen inside the abandoned house, which is strange on its own, considering how rarely animals stay inside unstable, empty structures for long. In medieval European folklore, black cats were believed to be familiars, supernatural beings or animal-shaped entities said to assist in dark practices. They weren't viewed as ordinary animals, but as extensions of something else, something unseen. In other cultures, black cats were considered omens of death. One 16th century Italian superstition even claimed that if a black cat lay on a sick person's bed, death would soon follow. Because of these beliefs, the presence of a black cat in an already badly abandoned, decaying structure has long been associated with places thought to be spiritually active. Almost immediately after he saw the black cat, a door was shaking violently, even though no one else was inside the building. There's no visible draft, no footsteps, no movement nearby that would explain it. On top of that, faint orbs drift through the frame, and an odd sound can be heard in the background. But one of the most unsettling details is something Kyle himself didn't even notice at the time. What's unsettling is how layered the activity feels. The cat, the shaking door, the orbs, and the sound. None of them happen in isolation, and together they create the sense that Kyle may not have been as alone as he thought. But it's not just his experiences at abandoned places that keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. For context, Kyle is someone who frequently explores abandoned places, and his partner happens to collect strange dolls. So when he shared what things look like at home, many viewers weren't surprised, but they were still disturbed. Watch this.
Just got home from work. This needs to stop. I need help, please. Going to explore it later.
When she got home, the door was rattling like someone was trying to get out, but the moment she entered, there's no one there, and the doll by the window was no longer there. No one entered the room, no one touched it, it was simply gone. Some viewers believe the activity from the abandoned house may have followed him home, not necessarily attached to him, but drawn to familiar objects, especially dolls, which are often believed to act as conduits or focal points for paranormal energy. Others think it's something that was already present in their home, and that Kyle's exploration may have stirred it up. According to Kyle and his partner, they don't feel threatened by whatever is happening. They describe it as more of an annoyance than anything else. Objects moving, small disturbances, things being misplaced and reappearing. Nothing violent or aggressive, but that's where many people begin to worry. because paranormal activity rarely stays the same forever. What starts as harmless or playful behavior can escalate over time, especially if it's being acknowledged, recorded, or unintentionally encouraged. The fact that they don't feel threatened now doesn't necessarily mean it will always stay that way. So is this something that's simply coexisting with them, or is it still figuring out how far it can go? I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. Now in this next clip, Nick has been documenting the strange activity that's been following him, not just at home, but at work. At his store, Nick installed security cameras everywhere, and according to him, there are very few nights where nothing strange happens. Chairs shift on their own, objects fall over, no matter how carefully they're placed. Items that were stable moments earlier suddenly end up on the floor. And there have even been times when he's returned to the store only to find windows cracked, despite no signs of forced entry. And when he gets home, it doesn't stop. Watch this.
Is there anyone here that can give me a sign? And something just fell off the counter, right in front of my face. Holy shit! Okay, is there anyone here? Yay, that was fun. Love this room. Just again, this is... Oh my god, my camera won't even focus. Hello? Can you use the dream catch? Okay, my camera's not even focusing. This is so weird. Can you use the dream catcher again to try to communicate with me, please? Okay. I think it made a sound out here again. Hello?
In this video, Nick asks for a sign, and almost immediately, objects begin falling. While some viewers see this as confirmation of paranormal activity, others warn that asking for signs isn't always a good idea. On one hand, some believe that spirits responding to direct questions may indicate intelligence or awareness, possibly a presence trying to communicate. Especially when the response is immediate, it can feel like validation that someone or something is listening. But on the other hand, many people argue that inviting responses, even unintentionally, can escalate activity. Asking for signs is often seen as giving permission, opening a door, rather than simply observing what's already there. And once something realizes it's being acknowledged, the activity can increase in both frequency and intensity. Another detail viewers couldn't ignore is the presence of several floating orbs throughout the footage. While skeptics argue these could be dust or insects reflecting light, others point out that the orbs appear at moments of heightened activity, drifting, changing direction, and lingering in ways that don't seem random. Because the activity follows Nick from place to place, many people believe Nick himself may be the focal point. Not the house, not the store, but him. Some say he could be unknowingly carrying something attached to him. Others take it a step further, suggesting the presence may be something darker, possibly even demonic, feeding off attention or fear. Nick, clearly unsettled, has been asking for advice on how to make it stop. Take a look at the security footage from his store. This footage only strengthened the theory that whatever is causing the disturbances at both locations is attached to Nick. The activity mirrors what happens at his home. Objects moving without explanation, sudden shifts in the environment, and no visible cause. The consistency between both locations makes it harder to argue coincidence or environmental factors. If the house were haunted, the store wouldn't be affected. If the store were the problem, the activity wouldn't follow him home. That's what makes this case so unsettling. It suggests something mobile, something that isn't bound by walls or locations, something that goes where he goes. And until Nick shares more updates or finds a way to stop what's happening, this case remains a mystery. But what you think? Is Nick haunted, or is he being followed? In the following piece of footage, taken from a toddler monitor late at night, a parent captures something that still hasn't been explained. The camera is pointed directly at the crib, showing a close-up of their toddler sleeping peacefully. Nothing unusual at first. The room is dim, lit only by the soft glow of the baby cam, and the house is completely quiet.
What the f is it? That's so weird. Well, I'll kill you, son of a.
If you look closely, right beside the toddler, another head can clearly be seen resting in the crib. It looks like a second child, partially obscured, facing the camera. Moments later, the figure slightly shifts its small hand as it moves, just enough to confirm it isn't a shadow or camera glitch. The man watching the monitor panics and immediately runs toward the bedroom, still filming as he calls out. When he reaches the crib, there's nothing there at all. The room is dark, the toddler is alone, and there's no possible way another child could have been there unnoticed. After the recording ends, he insists he checked every corner of the room and the house, but found no sign of anyone else. The footage has since got many views, with many people questioning whether the camera picked up a glitch, a reflection, or something far more unsettling watching over the child that night. Andre, a young man living alone, explained that strange noises around his house were never something he really paid attention to, until one night when things escalated fast. He was sitting at his keyboard, casually practicing an impressive piece, completely focused, when a sudden clattering sound cuts through the music. He stops playing instantly, and then strange things start to happen.
Hallo?
The sound clearly didn't come from the keyboard, so he sets it down and walks into the kitchen to investigate. On the floor, a pillow from the living room is lying awkwardly, along with several other items that look like they've been knocked down all at once. As he starts picking them up, something happens behind him. A loud sliding noise echoes from the other room, and at the same time, a few keys on his keyboard press themselves, playing random notes with no one touching it. Andre slowly turns back toward the keyboard, his breathing getting heavier as he realizes the mess has spread. The trash bin has completely tipped over, spilling everything across the floor. Then it gets worse. From the living room, a sound that almost resembles a woman's voice can be heard, faint but distinct, followed by the TV turning itself on. The screen glitches with static, lagging unnaturally, before suddenly shutting off on its own. Just seconds later, the door near Andre slams violently, making him jump as the footage cuts out. Whatever caused that surge of activity came on all at once, and judging by his panic, it was the last thing he expected when he sat down to play music. Late one night, Jake was filming when he ran into his sister's bedroom holding a bottle of hot sauce, clearly not expecting anything unusual to happen. The camera swings toward the bed as he laughs, but his tone changes almost immediately when something strange catches his eye. Sitting right beside his sister is a teddy bear, and as soon as he speaks, it slowly tips over on its own. Jake reacts first, telling her the teddy just fell, but she barely looks up and calmly asks, "What?" as if nothing happened. That's when something crazy happens though. Take a look.
Alright, bottle of hot sauce, or say something embarrassing. Bottle of the bear just moved.
What?
Oh my god!
That's when things escalate fast. Without anyone touching it, the teddy suddenly jerks and slides unnaturally toward the middle of the bed. It doesn't fall naturally or roll. It looks pushed, almost like something invisible forced it forward in a single, deliberate movement. The shift is quick, aggressive, and completely out of place. Both of them instantly panic, yelling as Jake pulls the camera back. There's no laughter anymore, no explanation offered, just raw fear. They scramble off the bed and run out of the room as the footage cuts abruptly. Afterward, viewers pointed out how unnatural the movement was, especially compared to the first fall. Jake later claimed neither of them touched the teddy and that nothing like that had ever happened in that room before, making this clip one of the most unsettling moments they've ever caught on camera. There's a lot of scary things you can find in your garden, but this exceeds all of them. Joseph was outside late at night, standing in his backyard and filming because he said something had been watching him from the far edge of the property for several nights in a row. At first, it's hard to make out what he's talking about, just trees in the distance, but his breathing already sounds tense, like he knows exactly where to point the camera. Eventually, he zooms in on it and passes the fear to us all.
Look, dude, she couldn't find her way over there, so now she's over here. She's back in here trying to find a way into my property. You see her? Look at that face. Oh my god. It's right there staring at me. Dude, how scary is that shit? Oh my god, dude. What the f? She's crawling through all this shit, bro.
As the footage continues, a pale, unnaturally still face becomes visible deep in the garden, staring directly toward him without moving. It doesn't blink, doesn't shift, just stays there in a way that feels completely wrong. Halfway through the clip, a faint glowing orb appears near the face and drifts outward, almost as if it's coming from it. Joseph reacts immediately, stepping back and narrating in disbelief, sounding more exhausted than surprised, like this isn't the first time it's happened. He doesn't chase it or get closer. He just keeps filming, clearly shaken. After posting the video, Joseph explained that the face has appeared multiple times in the opposite end of the garden, always watching, never approaching. Some people say it could be a trick of the light or an animal, but the consistency of the face, the orb, and Joseph's reaction make this one hard to brush off. Whatever was out there didn't seem lost. It seemed like it knew exactly where it was and what fear it was instilling. In this next story, a man who had been working the night shift at a hotel for several years explains the creepiest thing that's ever happened to him on the job. He says he'd never experienced anything paranormal there before, which is why this moment completely shook him.
So I've been working at a hotel for, a couple years now. And I've never had anything like this happen. And I'm borderline freaked out, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm sitting down here at the front desk, right? And I'm on the computer and I'm just typing away. Phone rings. I don't look at the phone. I just answer it. And, I say my whole little spiel or whatever. And it's just silent. The phone is just silent. After about, 3 or 4 seconds, I say hello again. Nothing. And right before I go to hang up, it sounds like I'm hearing somebody just like breathing on the other line. I just hang up and I'm like, okay, whatever. I ain't thinking twice about it. But then I go and look at the caller ID and let me show y'all something. All right. That's the room that called. Okay. Peep that. 505. Now let me show y'all something. I'm gonna go over here to the elevator so y'all know I'm not bullshitting. And I'm gonna turn the camera around. How many floors do you see here? Because I'm pretty sure we don't have a room 505 nor 5th floor. This would be the night I quit. I don't do that shit. I don't do that shit.
His story goes like this. He's sitting alone at the front desk late at night, typing away on the computer, when the phone suddenly rings. He answers it normally, but on the other end there's nothing, just silence. After a few seconds, he says hello again, assuming it might be a bad connection, but there's still no response. Just as he's about to hang up, he hears something that makes his stomach drop. Slow, heavy breathing coming through the receiver. Without thinking, he hangs up immediately and checks the caller ID, expecting to see a guest room number. Instead, it says the call came from room 505. Confused and unsettled, he grabs his phone and walks over to the elevator to prove to himself it's nothing. He shows the buttons clearly on camera, and there is no 5th floor at all. The hotel doesn't even have a room 505. The realization hits him in real time, and you can hear his voice change as it sinks in that whatever was breathing on the other end of the line didn't come from anywhere that should exist. Who knows what caused this? Two friends were exploring an abandoned flat complex late at night, filming as they moved through the outside area to document the place for themselves. The building had been empty for years, with broken windows, peeling paint, and an eerie silence that made every footstep echo. As they were scanning the upper floors from the outside with a flashlight, one of them, a guy named James, suddenly stopped. He pointed the camera toward a very specific window, saying something had moved.
Just watch this.
Isn't it? Future in hand.
430 abandoned flats, and there is something in the window.
Open. Yo. You see movement then? Move the light. Yo. What the fuck is that? Yo.
The curtains inside that flat were moving slowly, swaying back and forth even though there was no wind, and every other window in the building was completely still. James zoomed in, trying to get a clearer look, when an unnerving face suddenly appeared behind the glass. It didn't move like a normal person stepping forward. It was already there, pale and distorted, staring straight back at them from the darkness. The two friends froze, in disbelief, as the face lingered for a split second before fading back into the shadows and disappearing entirely. After that, the curtain stopped moving. James later emphasized that there was no one else in the complex, and no way anyone could have known exactly where they were standing. Against their better judgment, they decided to go inside the building to see if there was any chance someone else was actually there. The moment they stepped into the block, it was clear the place hadn't been touched in years. Random stuff was scattered everywhere, rubbish piled up in corners, and the air felt stale and heavy. They slowly made their way toward the flat they'd been filming from outside, keeping the camera rolling the entire time.
We both go inside the building block to see who was in the window. What happens when we get in is beyond strange.
Hello?
Just watch.
Which one is it? Check this. I can hear somebody. You know, there's dinging and beeping and... What's that window there? Yo. Hello? Isn't it? Hello? Yo! Who the fuck is it?
To be continued.
As they reach the room they believe the face came from, the guy behind the camera pauses and says he can hear something moving nearby. The area itself looks empty of life, stripped bare apart from debris on the floor. Then suddenly, a sharp metallic sound rings out, like a metal pin or small object dropping onto concrete. They both freeze. A few seconds later, it happens again, this time louder and closer, echoing down the corridor. Their tone changes instantly, voices dropping as they scan the room and nearby hallways, but there's nothing and no one in sight. James calls out a hesitant hello, his voice bouncing off the empty walls. Almost immediately after, another noise answers back from somewhere deeper in the building, but the source stays completely hidden. Whatever they saw in that window didn't stay behind the glass, and at that point, the exploration stopped feeling like curiosity and started feeling like they weren't welcome there at all. Subscribe as this exploration may continue in a future video.